So let's start with, how would you describe the major changes of your digital and mobile communication strategy?
Does this work? Is this one? Okay, Hughes guy, we're on. So, we don't have a mobile strategy. That's one of those profound statements we like to make. We have a customer acquisition and facilitation strategy of how we're going to move customers through the buying funnel based on where they currently are, what their persona is, and what they want to achieve. So when we think about mobile, it's just one of those platforms that the expectation is there for our customer. What are we going to deliver? What is the experience that they want them to achieve? So saying a mobile strategy to us, it sounds strange. It's like saying, what's your desktop strategy?
Our digital and mobile strategy has to be pretty refined. We have to really get an understanding of the channel and the message that is going to each one of those. So unlike you, I'm sorry, we've spent a little more time and trying to develop all those messages. However, we got where we were or where we are in social and digital media by flying more by the seat of our pants than we would like to. It's an ever-evolving landscape. I don't have to tell all of you that. And the flexibility that we have with digital media is immense.
When we talk about changing landscape, you know, a lot of B2B organizations are kind of old school manufacturing operations types of organizations, okay? This is kind of, and we're trying to evolve them. There's people like us in these organizations that's trying to get them to adopt new marketing techniques. And so when we talk about changing landscapes, what we know now is that, you know, for a typical B2B buying process, you know, that buyer or that person purchasing can be 60 to 90% through their buying process before they even engage with an organization.
Within your companies, what's the biggest challenge that you face in implementing some of these marketing strategies?
I'll go. Operations. I mean, the technology, there's a lack of, there's a lot of education. I think Georgia referenced that in a point of hers, that there's a lot of education that's needed across the corporation and helping connect the dots. I mean, Parker's a very old school, operations first, engineering second organization, and somewhere in the 573 range is where marketing exists.
In the welding industry, Lincoln was never known as the marketing juggernaut. It was always our competitor, and now those tables have turned in just the past 4 years. We've got the right people in place. But our biggest challenge, again, is following that through. We have no, let me step back. We have a homegrown integrated CRM system that was probably developed by the very first IT person ever. And somewhere there is a computer running Windows 95 with floppy disks, I'm sure, and running this whole system. We can't follow that person through the entire funnel. Somebody comes in through LinkedIn or through social or I use the word social for Facebook. We can't follow them. We cannot put an ROI on any of our digital media efforts, and it's very frustrating to us from a marketing standpoint.
So you have to walk before you run, right? And when you're trying to build something in an organization, isn't it so powerful to be able to come with metrics and data? You know, it's not like I have to sit in front of somebody and say, yeah, what is the return on that print ad? I don't know, you know, so we are challenged sometimes with following it through to a sale. There is technology that can do that, but there's lots of other digital technology that's very interesting, right? That can measure engagement that, you know, we have to teach, we have to educate, we have to tell people what that is and what it means, but when you're building something, one of the really, great things about our area is that we do have data, and we're not sitting around talking about opinions. We're not saying, well, I like that as purple or green, or, you know, we're not talking about opinions. We're saying, well, the data says this is how we interpret it.
I mean, do you see mobile as distinct and something that's important in reaching a B2B audience? And if so, how? Or is it just, sort of a function of different technology?
Sure. So the way I think about mobile is we really dissect a mobile app into 4 different layers. The UI layer, which is the obviously visual branded front end that the user is going to interact with. The data layer, where is that content that is being presented to the user coming from? Thirdly, the transaction layer, what is the user going to achieve? Is it purchasing a product online, leveraging our e-commerce platform? Is it downloading a variety of support documentation materials that's coming from our CMS? And then fourth is the coding bridge that makes all of that happen.
About 2 years ago, I got a summons to the office of our Vice President of Marketing and Sales, and I walked in, and the director, or the President of North America Operations, was sitting in the corner of the room, and I immediately thought, uh-oh, what did I do? And they both looked at me and said, we need a mobile app. Well, why? Because our competitors have one. So I left that meeting with that strategy in place, and now, that app could have done a flurry of things, but hey, at least we had one. But we looked back at all of our digital data that we had and a lot of web metrics to see what parts of our resource section on our site were our users going to most. Well, it was welding parameters. So that told us that users, they're out in the field, they're trying to look up parameters, and it was a very highly trafficked page from mobile devices. So they're trying to figure out, they're welding this thickness material, what do they set their machine at? So the first thing we developed was a weld parameter guide app, and it's done very well for us.
A lot of our app, like from an app standpoint, we've used them internally. We've utilized that internally to help our service technicians or to help our sales team with kind of a similar situation where you have documents or something to help guide you through a break fix type of situation that might happen with our equipment. So that's where we are, with mobile. We're monitoring it. We're kind of very much paying attention to it, but we are also looking for those kind of niche situations where it does make sense for us to kind of help operationally.